Good morning, evening, or afternoon, everybody. It's Kaghoe coming at you with another video. So today we're going to be covering the awesome news that we just got, and the Scarlet Enclave is pretty much saved with these changes. I'm super stoked to read them and talk to you about them, and I think we could get a few more that would, I think, really go towards making the Scarlet Enclave perfect, in my opinion. But it is pretty awesome, and cool effect here that you're seeing is if the Enclave is 7 out of 8, so once you've killed all bosses but Colderon, and you've engaged him once, he lights the sky on fire with the power of the Ashbringer, which is really freaking amazing. So without further ado, let's hop over here to the patch notes and dive right into them. So at first it says, with all realm restarts, the portable cannon item will now deal damage to targets even if they are immune to the stun portion of the effect. The Vanquished Tentacle of Cthulhu and Eye of Mari have been added to the list of items that cannot be used in a neutral area, like Cenarian Hold and Lightsoap Chapel. Finally, the PvP griefing has come to an end. It took them long enough. It has been a problem for months and months now, and I am very happy to see that actually finally come to an end, so it'll be a little bit nicer to enjoy the game. Then the Scarlet Base Camp is now considered a neutral area where certain spell effects like Homunculi cannot be used. So the Base Camp is also getting that treatment, which is very good. Now we have some class changes. So Hunter, Carve will now benefit from the effects of that reference the Strife ability type that was not previously a strike. So that it affects that reference a strike ability type that was not previously a strike. So that's pretty good, I think. I'm not entirely sure what that entails. If Hunter would like to include some reference on that, that'd be great. Deep Freeze will now correctly have its damage increased by 20 per stack of Glaciate, was 10% per stack. Balefire Bolt debuff that increases the damage of Balefire Bolt by 25% per stack now also increases the damage of your Pyroblast by the same percent. That is insane. Mages are going to do a lot of damage even without their new tier set, so that is really huge. Obviously, the new tier set will help a ton because you'll get a lot more Balefires, but now your Pyros are going to be hitting really hard too. So honestly, like, mages might start one-shotting people in the world. You build up the Balefire and then you just blast someone. That'd be crazy. Paladin increases and decreases to judgment and will no longer affect Seal of Command. Horde player, I really don't know what they mean by increases and decreases to judgment. Maybe like spell power or something, or like time duration. I really have no idea what that means. But if any paladin would like to comment, definitely would be very nice to hear. Priest, Vampiric Embrace will no longer be subject to the healing reduction players experience in PvP. This was making Vampiric Embrace much weaker than intended due to the initial spell damage dealing less and then being reduced further by the healing reduction. So that's really good. Honestly, I think they should just revert it straight up to what it was. With all the healing required in Scarlet Enclave, Shadow Priest would be very much desired. Rogue, the base physical damage reduction from just a flesh wound has been reduced to 20%, was 30%. We've lowered the flat damage reduction portion of just a flesh wound when this was increased when the defense scaling was introduced. This number being 30% was used to help bridge the shift from tanking and damage gear to tanking and tank gear. We feel enough time has passed to lower this number as players have had adequate access to gear they could swap over or get a new set if they had geared for damage. So there we go. Rogues nerfed again. Then we have Shaman. Oh, you guys love these Shaman's changes. The Scarlet Enclave Elemental 2-set bonus will no longer chain to other targets while Burn is engraved. Was casting a Flame Shock tick that chained even to targets that didn't have a Flame Shock active, and also chaining to multiple times across targets if Chain Lightning was the triggering spell. Scarlet Enclave Elemental 2-piece set bonus will now correctly mirror the damage of the Flame Shock tick, was treating some bonuses as multiplicative instead of additive, resulting in more damage than a normal Flame Shock tick. The Scarlet Enclave Elemental 2-piece set bonus will no longer play a Flame Shock animation from the caster whenever it activates. The Scarlet Enclave Elemental 2-piece set will now correctly strike with an instant tick of Flame Shock that are out of normal Flame Shock range of 20 yards. Enemies need to be within the normal range. So it seems like a lot of tweaks and adjustments to make it function properly, and I do think that it will be really good to see, and hopefully it allows for it to function as intended. Warlock. Shadowbolt Valley now causes Shadowbolt to deal 30% reduced damage, was 5%. Shadowbolt Volley no longer deals reduced damage if there is only one target that is struck by your Shadowbolt. Was always deals reduced damage while the rune is engraved. So that's good, I guess, but that is a massive reduction, and I worry for the council fight now. Scarlet Enclave changes. So this is what I'm talking about, and definitely in the right realm of what we want to see. The Berserk timer has been increased to 7 minutes for Mason the Echo. Absolutely love that. That is a phenomenal change. It'll allow a lot more guilds to kill instead of it be a timed how fast can you do the cannonballs mechanic. And then cannonballs are now properly removed when the boss leashes and resets. So I guess cannonballs were spawning in even if he got leashed. So once again, another phenomenal change. Then Enervate and Enkindle have had their periodic damage reduced slightly, so those are the stacks from them. And the spell visuals for Wild Fisher have been improved. So Wild Fisher kind of like put a bunch of dots on the ground. It was really hard to see, and people were just getting murdered by it. The fence still blocks Wild Fisher, and that's what makes the fence strat so viable. And people have really seen my video and learned a lot from it, and hopefully got some kills with it. But yeah, I think those are definitely necessary changes, because Beastmat, like Enervate and Kindle, were really dangerous this go around because we cheesed it the first go around and we blocked it with the fence. So seeing that change was really good. Then this one is probably the most shocking, but it maybe helps a lot. But just for Reborn Council, they literally just changed the Blast Wave's vertical arc from the knockback, and it has been lessened. So people aren't getting alley-ooped anymore, because what would happen is he would do that, and sometimes he'd land right on Harad, so not getting launched across the room might be really good and help a lot of people not die, and you can still hit the really intense DPS check. I would still love to see this go very similar to Mason. I would love to see it go from 5 to 7 minutes. I think the 7-minute timer would be really good and give people the chance to learn the mechanics, learn the fight, execute it at a decent rate, and get the kill. I do not like the 5-minute timer on Reborn Council, and it is the brick wall that everybody is running their face into, and a lot of people are just straight up failing because of it. But anyway, once again, these are all really good changes and definitely on the right line of what I want to see with the Scarlet Enclave raid and where we're headed. So we have a few replies. Love the mage buff. What about the Berserk timer for council? So pretty much there. Shocker was almost like this was a bad idea when he buffed it in phase, so you should have just put it to 15%. Since all classes are balanced around full BIS, this indirectly buffs mage in BIS compared to the other classes. Should I expect warlock buffs since we're just giving buffs to classes that were competitive in full BIS? As nice as these changes are, if you're going to upset people to an absurd degree with how gentle you're being, either nerf the bosses by 20 from bosses 3 to 8, or just turn on the buff on at max variety. People are getting tired of waiting till they do something that will actually make the raid completable by 20 players. So I think this is, I mean, these are great changes. Council is the only one I said, and as I harped there, I definitely would like to see it just have its enrage timer, but the rest of the bosses are pretty good. I really like where they're at. The dragon I would like to see be able to be kicked again, because that sucks. We were promised Berserk timer increase on the last 2 bosses. If a guild can't kill Mason with a previous enrage timer, they won't get council sub 30. I've enjoyed this out a ton, but the lack of enrage adjustments for council and Connor are going to make me quit for another game. The mechanics of the fight aren't preventing players from cutting their raid and having fun with friends. These are arbitrary enrage timer as air. It's been a real stain on me for phase 8. And I don't agree. They'll just get gear to do enough damage eventually. Mentality is just not fun. Mage was not competitive. It was stimming around tanks, good buff. Everything else I agree with, though. So just some people mad about the enrage timers again. So once again, as I said, I definitely want to see that. We still could have more. It seems like they only did like 3 bosses there. So time will certainly tell. And if we have more, I will happily address that and talk to you guys about that then. So anyway, I truly hope you enjoyed this video. And until next time, I'll see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Hey you. Yes you. Are you still there? Well,
I appreciate you for taking the time to watch this entire video and making it to the end here. If you enjoyed this video, definitely check out the other videos about World of Warcraft listed in these playlists down below. And thank you again. Have a great day. Bye-bye.